Hey guys, this is the Canadian Baconer, and in this video, we are going to be talking about Battlefield 1. So Battlefield 1 has been out for about, I want to say 2 weeks now, and I think it's a good time to finally give my opinion on the good and the bad about this game. I really do enjoy Battlefield games. I've been playing Battlefield games for about maybe like 3 years now, and I've had a really good time. So, you know, I want Battlefield 1 to last as long as BF4. Battlefield 4 lasted for years, and I want Battlefield 1 to do the same. So starting off with the good about the game modes. The game modes are very fun to play. Conquest is exactly what I expected it to be. Large scale gameplay, everything's going on, you know, balls to the wall, it's all out chaos, and it's really fun to play. It's exactly what I expected Conquest to do, and I think they did a really good job here. And I think if you're not coming from a previous Battlefield game, and you're coming from Call of Duty, for example, this is a really good introduction into Battlefield, and it really shows off the power of the Frostbite engine and just Battlefield in general. Now, something that I really do like is the Operations game mode. Operations, in my opinion, is a crazy breath of fresh air. It takes all the elements that I loved from game modes such as Conquest and Rush and just fuses them perfectly together into what feels like a really cool, compelling story. When I first booted up the game mode, I thought I was honestly playing like a story mission because it just looked that good, it felt that good, and the announcement in the beginning really set you in the tone for what you were doing. It really put you in the mood to say, hey, you know, we are fighting for our country, no one can stop us. It's so cool. I also like how they have longer matches. A single Operations game mode can go from anywhere from like 28 minutes to 35ish, and that's perfect for me. I love game modes that last that long. So if you guys are a fan of those game modes, I recommend that you try out Conquest or Operations. So now moving on to Domination and Team Deathmatch. Now personally, I did not play too much Team Deathmatch in Battlefield 4, so I can't really give my crazy opinion on that, but Domination is very fun to play. Domination in BF4 was very fun to play, and it is still very fun to play, if not better to play in Battlefield 1. The capture points are set up in key locations on the maps, and the maps are very well designed for the Domination game mode and the Team Deathmatch game mode, so that is a very good thing. It's going to allow for a lot of really cool competitive moments, and a lot of crazy flanks as well in the game, which is really nice to see. Now moving on to the story was very compelling actually. I was not too crazy about the story when it first came out, not because it's a Battlefield story, but simply because I didn't really like the structure or the format of the way it was. Think of it as sequences from Assassin's Creed. You have, you know, a certain character storyline that moves on to another character, so on and so forth. We get that same deal with the war stories in Battlefield 1, which seem to actually really work well. I do have a bit of gripes about that, but I'm going to talk about that later in the video. So the story really does pull you into the characters, and each little sequence gives you a different style of gameplay. I know the first couple of missions were like tank missions, then it moved on to infantry, then stealth, and then planes. I really felt like I was getting a crazy diverse amount of gameplay options in Battlefield 1 story, which is, you know, not what I expected at all, but it just really worked. I've not beat the story yet, but I'm working towards it, but what I've played so far has been very fun. So I recommend if you have not touched the story yet in Battlefield 1, please give it a try because there will be something for you, I guarantee that. Now, of course, everyone knew this was coming, but the graphics look absolutely outstanding in Battlefield 1. Running on the new Frostbite engine looks like everything just looks so good, and I'm playing on Xbox One, right? PS4 and Xbox One, of course, are not the optimal systems to play on when it comes to graphics and performance and stuff, but it just looks so good on these consoles. I can't even imagine what it looks like on PC, you know, 4K, maxed out everything. It probably looks like real life. And now that I've talked all about the good, let's move on to the bad about Battlefield 1, because there are negatives, and I want to say this is more of negative criticism than anything, because I really do enjoy the game, I really do. But there are these glaring issues that I really think need to be fixed if they want this game to succeed. Like I said, Battlefield 4 lasted years, and I just want Battlefield 1 to last a long time as well. So starting off with the game modes, Rush is very disappointing. I'm very dissatisfied with Rush. It's just not what I expected at all. And it's not because it's like, you know, completely different setup or whatever. It's simply because of the lack of players. It is 12v12. The player count is way too low. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, oh, 24 people in total, that does not seem that bad, but in practice, it just does not work at all. Less player count means less pushes. It's harder to push onto the objectives simply because there are less people and less vehicles as well. So basically, if you get stuck at the first couple of objectives, it is going to be extremely difficult for you and your squad to push up simply because, you know, you don't have that manpower, you don't have as many people to work with. Now, what I liked about Battlefield 4 is that they had a lot higher player count. I think it was 16v16, which seemed to get the job done. And also, what I would really like them to do is to actually go the Star Wars Battlefront route and have 20v20, because 20v20 actually works very well. It feels, you know, not too full, not too clustered, but at the same time, you feel like that sense of presence, you feel that sense of your entire squad's moving up on one objective. That works. Now, I do have some complaints about the story. Now, these are kind of my personal complaints. These aren't necessarily like the story, was bad or whatever, but I really feel like the stories were a bit too short. Now, I understand, the system going in. I understood the fact that these stories were kind of meant to be short and, they were split up, into like 6 categories or whatever, but at one point I would get really invested into one character and then the story would just end and I would be like, whoa, is that it? Is that all we get? You only get that taste of it? I want to say this is a negative and a positive at the same time, because it's positive that I'm really intrigued and I really want to know more about this, but it's a negative because I don't get enough of it and it's kind of unsatisfying when you have to move on to the next war story, especially when you're getting so involved into one character. And now we move on to the negative technical aspects. So on larger maps and larger game modes, the game tends to lag tremendously. I'm talking about like dipping below 20 frames per second, and that is just not playable at all. It's not acceptable. I play on Xbox One, so I know the same problem has been happening on PS4, and I think that's simply because of like the consoles not being physically able to handle what's going on the screen, which I understand, but it is just really frustrating. I can only imagine what the people that are playing on PC are saying right now. Oh my gosh, console plebs or whatever, but simply, this is what we get to work with, and it's not the best right now. It's not the best experience in the world. Also, the loading screens for Battlefield 1. If you guys have played a single match of like Conquest or Operations for that matter, it takes forever. It's actually ridiculous how long it takes. In Battlefield 4, it would take like maybe like 20 seconds max depending on your internet connection and stuff, but in Battlefield 1 it takes forever. Like, I'm talking about GTA 5 lengths of loading screen, and then it's just not acceptable at all. Again, it's not a game problem, it's more of the hardware. The Xbox One and the PS4 are physically unable to handle these games at at like a really constant fast rate. For people that play in PC, let me know down below in the comment section, if you have a really good computer, are you still lagging in the game, or is it completely fine because you've got like the best graphics card in the world? Let me know down below. But yeah, that's actually going to wrap up my opinion about Battlefield 1. Like I said, I've only played it for about 2 weeks, so my opinion could change in the future. I may make a new video depending on how I feel about the thing, or if there's something specific I want to talk about. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Now, don't forget, this is simply my opinion, so anything that I say could be completely different from what you guys think, which is why I encourage you guys to leave some comments down below. But if you guys enjoyed this video, feel free to give this video a like and subscribe to this channel if you're not subscribed already for the latest and greatest in Battlefield 1 information and news, and I guess more opinion videos like this. I want Battlefield 1 to succeed just like BF4 did. But if you guys enjoyed, give this video a like and subscribe, and this has been the Canadian Baconer. Stay crispy, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.